Hey, Shalom. This is the brother Abad. You're here. Before I get started, like always, I want to give all praises and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rachakakodash. Double honors to my teachers, the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. Let's go into the book of, the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 27. Okay? It says, many have sinned. This is verse 1. It says, many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away. And what is a small matter? Well, the scriptures is correct right here, because people they'll commit adultery just because they want to sleep with a certain person. All right. A man will have sleep with a woman on her period just because, he wants to have sex at that time, and he feels that might be the only opportunity he has with that woman. These are things that go against the laws of the Most High. Sin is transgression of the law. So when the scriptures right here say many have sinned for a small matter, people kill, murder, all right? Because you have righteous killings and you have unrighteous killings. But really no one should be killing anybody right now because we're under mercy and grace. And we're not in the time for, laying down the law of the Lord with killings. But people murder for small matters, all right? People get road rage. And just because somebody honks their horn, they'll murder somebody, right? So many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away. And, that's why, being consumed with the flesh and the desires and wants and lusts and pleasures of the flesh and wanting abundance and wanting more and more and more, you're going to turn your eyes away from sin. Even though you're not going to call it out, you're not going to rebuke it, you're not going to condemn it, all right? You're not going to speak against it, you're going to turn your eyes away, right? But those that, on the contrary, those that seek abundance in the kingdom, all right, the riches of the Lord, and not just carnal riches, but the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, all right, the precepts, all right, the love of the Lord, the fruits of the Spirit, those that desire those spiritual riches from, the Creator, they're going to turn away from sin, all right? So I kind of went twofold on that verse there, all right? You have those that are going to commit iniquity and turn away from, fessing up or, realizing their iniquity and realizing their transgression. And you have those that are going to completely turn away from those that do commit those acts. Hopefully I explained that in a way that you could understand. But verse 2, it says, as a nail sticketh fast between the joinings of the stones, so doth sin stick close between buying and selling. And we know what the scriptures speak about buying and selling, right? So when people take the charagma, guess what? That's a sin. Because the law of the Lord said, make no cuttings in your flesh. You're not supposed to be inserting devices within your flesh. But not only that, it's a sin just to take the charagma, because the Lord said if you take it, you're going to partake in the lake of fire. So sin does stick close between buying and selling, because the reason people are going to be taking the charagma is because what? You cannot buy or sell without it. So even before the arrival of the charagma, people commit sin because they want to buy certain things, sell certain things. All right. Verse 3, it says, unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall be soon overthrown. Correct. The scriptures say the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. Because your first house is what? It's not your physical house with a door, windows, all right, a garage, a driveway. Your first house is your vessel where your spirit lies, which is your body, right? If you don't have no control, if you don't mortify your members, all right, if you have wanton eyes, you're going to do whatever you want to do, like a beast would. You're going to do whatever you want to do to get money. You're going to do whatever you want to do to get a certain woman. You're going to do it just like, you got this one guy who was, who fell out of the truth, and he ended up raping a 14-year-old girl, right? Making her go unconsciously, drink, made her drink until she was unconscious, and then raped her numerous times. That's completely off, right? Now we go into the law on rape and how, like, in certain instances when a man would rape an unbetrothed woman, he would have to marry her, pay the dowry of the father, or what so have you. But just to be out here just raping bitches, for one, we ain't in the time of that anyways. You shouldn't be raping no one, period, point blank, period. Especially a woman that's underage according to the law in today's society. All right, but when you don't have self-control over yourself, you'll do any type of thing you want to do just to get what you want. That's why the scripture say, what? His house shall be soon overthrown. And because of that, this guy has been thrown into prison. He's been overthrown. Verse 4, it says, as when one sifteth with a sieve, the refuse remaineth. So the filth of a man in his talk. Yeah, that's what the Lord said. As he sifts certain individuals, those impurities that was supposed to be put off, that old man that was supposed to put off, when he sifts you and he sees that those certain traits are still there from the world, he don't want that. He don't want you. All right? The filth of a man in his talk, his proud, his arrogance, his slothful behaviors, lukewarmness towards his power. All right? His unjust dealings amongst brothers. All right? The way he conducts himself in the ministry of the Lord. The Lord don't want that in his amongst his body, amongst his saints. Verse 5. The furnace proveth the potter's vessels, so the trial of man in his reasoning. What does the Lord say? He's going to try the elect as gold is tried in the fire of affliction, the fire of furnace. So you have to go through trials and tribulations to prove your integrity, to prove your morality, to prove if you're able to stand for your Lord. It's one thing to say, yeah, I'm putting off the old man. But then once you try it, those impurities come up and they take over and they consume you because you didn't mortify your members. You didn't learn to control yourself. You didn't apply the knowledge that you were receiving. You were just regurgitating what you was reading, to look like some shit to other people for the outward appearance. But you weren't really working on yourself. Right? Verse 6. It says, the fruit declareth if the tree have been dressed. So is the utterance of a conceit in the heart of man. Yeah, so you'll be able to find out, what a man really thinks, what he truly believes by his fruit. Men can deceive other men that are not spiritual, but a spiritual man is not deceived by carnal men because he judges all things according to the scriptures. You look at a man and say, oh, I believe in the Lord. I love the brotherhood, but what does his fruit show? Is he studying? Is he reading? Is he doing lessons? Does he have patience? Does he have temperance? Which temperance and self-control? Does he show charity? Does he show meekness, humility? How does he act when he's rebuked and corrected? How does he act when things doesn't go his way? Does he lash out like a woman? Does he get emotional like these niggas in the world, these YNs? Like the world teaches him to behave according to the flesh? No control. So the fruit will declare a man once he's tried and see if that tree has been dressed. Dressed with what? The wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the Lord. Right? These things will all come out. It's only a matter of time. That's what the trials and tribulations in certain instances and situations are put there for, to expose the fake, all right, and to reveal the sincere. Verse 7, it says, praise no man before thou hearest him speak, for this is the trial of men. If thou followest righteousness, thou shalt obtain her, and put her on as a glorious long robe. So that goes into the tree being dressed with righteousness, all right? It's going to be like a robe you put on, all right? Which goes into that white apparel in the book of Revelation. Speaks about those that have made themselves white through great tribulation. The only way you can make yourself pure in the sight of the Lord is through great tribulation, because our righteousness is as filthy rags. So you have to wash yourself daily through the word, cleanse yourself through the washing of the word, these scriptures, right? John 6:63. This is the truth is the spirit, right? And then you make yourself white through the word, but also through the afflictions and trials that you go through. You maintain your integrity. You maintain your morality. You maintain the law, statutes, and commandments in the ways of your creator, Yahweh Shemel Shai, no matter what you go through. It's easier said than done, but this is the requirements of a righteous man. Verse 9, it says, the birds will resort unto their light, so will the truth return unto them that practice in her. So if you see these guys leave the truth, leave the doctrine, change up the doctrine, start saying Gentiles can make it, all right, or completely not teaching the prophecies correctly, not teaching the Quran correctly, not teaching World War III, the third world correctly, guess what? The birds will resort unto their light. Really, they were in the world. Really, they had one foot in the world and one foot in the truth. Really, they had both feet in the world, and they just had a garment on with fringes. All right, they resort unto their light. That's why you see some of these guys in these other camps. They own these degenerate podcasts talking about degeneracy and folly that's not edifying. That has nothing to do with the truth. Because really, that's their kind. They resorted to their light. The truth is not going to return to anybody like that. Truth is going to leave that man. That man's going to return to his own vomit. Because really he was with those people while he was so called in the truth anyways. But it came out once the the little oil he had was stripped from him. Verse 10. As the lion lieth in wait for the prey, so sin for them that work iniquity. Yeah, so you may do a certain, and we spoke about this last night in the New Year's Eve of destruction video. You do a certain sin, or, everything has spirits tied to it. So you go off and you think, oh, I just committed iniquity. Not knowing there's spirits tied to, every sin that you do. And there's certain levels to certain, transgressions. But whenever you go off, you got to make sure you pray, repent, and get in the scriptures, get in the word. Because if you don't, it's going to lead to you doing, more folly. All right. A lot of men don't become homosexuals overnight. All right, it's a gradual thing. They start, having threesomes with women, making women become lesbians. Then they start sticking their dick in women's butts, doing all type of shit, letting women eat their butt. Sorry to be graphic, but this is what these fucking degenerates are doing in the world. All right, and then before you know it, now he's laid up with another man. He's letting women pop him with toys up his butt, and then he's laying with other men. All right. Like it just said, as a lion lieth in wait for prey, so sin for them that work iniquity. Verse 11. The discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changeth as the moon. Yeah, nigga say he Kemet one day, Muslim the next. You got this viral picture of this rapper Dave East. He got a kufi on his head because he Muslim, but on his right arm he has a tattoo of Cesare Borgia, who the world calls Jesus. He got a white man tattooed on his fucking arm with a kufi. It's just confusion. A fool changes as the moon. Verse 12. And that's crazy because, when you go into the moon, that's actually the symbol of these fucking, people in Islam, the deity they worship. So that's deep there. Verse 12, it says, if thou be amongst the indiscreet, observe the time, but be continually among men of understanding. Yeah, so if you're among people that you can't really trust, that aren't a part of the truth, that are given to change as the moon, make sure you observe the time. Make sure you keep that time amongst them short. Don't be just hanging out with them, and shooting the shit with them all the time. Do what you got to do to get what you need from them and keep it pushing. It says, but be continually among men of understanding. Why? Because they're going to keep you where you need to be, where your spirit needs to be, aligned with Yahweh Bashim Shai and what they want from you. Verse 13, it says, the discourse of fools is irksome, and their sport is the wantonness of sin. Yeah, it's like, I remember one of my friends in the world, he came back into town, and, me and him, we're not close anymore. We don't even talk anymore, but I remember he came back into town, and I was in the truth, and he knew I was in the truth, but one of the first things he said to me was, yeah, I had sex with this guy's woman. And that's irksome, and that's the sport of wantonness of sin. They have no control, they have no boundaries, they have no discipline, and you can't be around individuals like that. So, that should behoove you, and it be a warning unto you guys that think, oh yeah, Yahweh Shai ate with sinners, so I can just hang around sinners all the damn time. Keep doing that shit all you want. that's gonna keep you in that old man. All right, you gotta start putting that shit off. You use the world, don't abuse it. A lot of you guys try to walk that fine line and go overboard. Verse 14. The talk of them that swerve much maketh the hair stand upright, and their brawls make one stop his ears. The strife of the proud is bloodshedding, and their revelings are grievous to the ear. Yeah, that's the spirit of black culture. Slide on the ops, slide on my enemies. Nigga said something wrong to me, I'm about to go kill him. Right? Or nigga challenge my ego and my pride, I'm gonna kill him. Shit, I'm gonna fuck these niggas. It's grievous to the ear. Nobody wanna hear that shit. Because none of you guys are tough. When the Lord send death knocking at your door, now all of y'all crying for help and want to be put on t-shirts and want somebody to come to your aid. Fuck you, nigga. Go back to the spirit realm. Verse 16. If you sown death, you should reap death, okay? Verse 16, it says, whoso discovers secrets loses his credit and shall never find friend to his mind. Love thy friend and be faithful unto him. But if thou betrayest his secrets, follow no more after him. Yeah, that gossiping behind brothers' backs. Y'all gotta stop doing that shit, man. If you have an issue with a brother, if you've seen something in a brother that you really don't like, address it, man. Bring it up to that brother. Don't be talking about brothers behind their backs, man. Or if a brother tell you a secret and you know it's some secret shit, you revealing it to another brother. Who the fuck want to be around a guy like that, man? Verse 18, for as a man have destroyed his enemy, so hast thou lost the love of thy neighbor. As one that letteth a bird go out of his hand, so hast thou let thy neighbor go, and shall not get him again. Follow after him no more, for he is too far off. He is as a roe escaped out of the snare. We're not supposed to be like that amongst bros. We're supposed to be able to trust each other, brothers in arms. Yeah, and you're going to share certain things with other bros you might not share with other brothers because you may be closer with them. But you ain't supposed to be sharing another brother's secret with that brother. Have respect, have morality, and know that the Lord is watching you too. He's going to judge you according to his standard, not according to what you perceive as just and righteous. Verse 21, as for a wound, it may be bound up, and after reveling, there may be reconcilement. But he that betrayeth secrets is without hope. So you can always reconcile with your brother, but to a nigga that reveals secrets, he can't be trusted. This nigga, you got to depart from that nigga. Verse 22. Because if he'll do that amongst brothers, what is he gonna do when the enemy comes down and puts the pressure on him? He gonna break like nothing. Verse 22, it says, he that winketh with his eyes worketh evil, and he that knoweth him will depart from him. You got to know who you're around, man. You got to know who you're around. It's easy to be deceived when you just kicking it and hanging it and not observing your surroundings. All right? Not examining those that are amongst you. You got to first know who they are to depart from them. Verse 23, when thou art present, he will speak sweetly, and will admire thy words, but at the last he will writhe his mouth and slander thy sayings. Yeah, you shooting the shit with a nigga in the world, and he know you an Israelite, and you tell him you dropping pearls among swine, and he trying to act like he cool with you. Then as soon as you leave, he talking shit about you to other niggas. Man, yeah, one of my homies in that nigga in some wild shit. That nigga a clown, right? But you don't perceive that to happen because you a fool at the end of the day. You behaving like a fool. You supposed to know who the fuck you around and what you can say around them and what you can't. Give not your pearls to swine, man. Verse 24, I have hated many things, but nothing like him, for the Lord will hate him. Whoso casteth a stone on high casteth it on his own head, and a deceitful stroke shall make wounds. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that setteth a trap shall be taken therein. He that worketh mischief, it shall fall upon him, and he shall not know from whence it cometh. Yeah, so when you finally get judged for all that shit you've been doing behind the closed doors, now you want to act surprised. You got that shocked look on your face, that just you just wide-eyed, bug-eyed, mouth wide open. Yeah, nigga, you thought this was a game. You didn't truly believe. But the Lord came and brought judgment at your door. Judgment came knocking. Verse 28. Mockery and reproach are from the proud, but vengeance as a lion shall lie in wait for them. Yeah, so mockery and reproach, proudful people, they love that. But vengeance is gonna get their ass. It's only a matter of time. They shall fall into the pit that they dug. Verse 29. They that rejoice, like the scripture say, in the day of trouble, in the day of calamity, roughly paraphrasing, you shall cry and have sorrow, but my servant shall laugh. You shall starve and hunger, but my servant shall eat and drink. Right? That's the vengeance for your mockery and your reproach against the truth. Verse 29. They that rejoice at the fall of the righteous shall be taken in the snare, and anguish shall consume them before they die. So even before you die, let's get anguish. Let's get anguish. Let's get the word anguish. Acute bodily or mental suffering. So you're going to be suffering in your spirit, in your body, your mind. You're going to be plagued before you get up out of here. Nigga. The Lord gonna send demons to fucking torture you, your mind and your spirit, your body, before you even go back to the spirit realm. Verse 30. Malice and wrath, even these are abominations, and the sinful man shall have them both, malice and wrath. There you go. You get malice with malice, desire to hurt another, right?